Today's show is an unscripted recording of an actual conversation taking place with a client about narcissism. The statements made on today's shows are personal views and opinions and are to be regarded as such. Now let's get into it.
So I think a lot of the times people don't think about that other side of it, because I'm not gonna lie, we were raising a narcissist and we know it, but for him, his comes out of a place of abuse.
She's getting close. She doesn't come from like if their parents made them, gave them basically anything they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I honestly think that's
like solo children.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. It comes from a place of how almost rendering. It's not something that most people are born with, because if you see, let's say for instance, as a parent, if you see your child at 4 years old acting a certain way, you're going to correct those certain behaviors. But then if you don't and you feed into them, so you also have the ones that are really just spoiled. Mm-hmm. And instead of
too much attention. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it goes the other way. So then you create a narcissist. So you can, as a parent, if you see that developing, you can stop it. Like for our kid, we're very much like, his come from a place of abuse. So we know where, like, getting his background, we know where it comes from. Yeah. So we try to channel that. So if we're having a conversation with someone and he brings the conversation back to him, excuse me, little narcissist. Like we're not gonna do this. This conversation is not about you.
So you kind of just check it
out.
I've
called him out on it too.
Yeah, sometimes you have to.
Do you say it? Like, do you say narcissist? Do they know that you're saying that?
I told them about the characteristics.
Because I've had a conversation with people about it, but I don't think they're thinking this is me.
But this is like, the thing. So everyone won't be able to recognize their narcissist, right? And sometimes people say this. Someone's a narcissist. It's not necessarily they're a narcissist. It's just they have some narcissistic qualities.
Yeah. Well, we don't call them characteristics. There ain't no quality about that.
No, but if they get the right therapy and because you can do like behavioral therapy to help change some of that, because most narcissists, they don't feel empathy. They can't take themselves and put themselves in someone else's shoes.
Or they feel on a very low scale.
Most of the
Because
time.
from what I understand, some of them do feel it.
Yeah.
Their responses are just different.
Yeah. So, like, teaching those. This is, so having those conversations, especially if you see it in your child, if they're younger. Okay, what would you do if such and such happened? Like, how would you help a friend? How would you help a classmate? Having those conversations and making sure they get the right therapy, they can be able to pull that back or allow them to have a holistic lifestyle still as a narcissist, because it can't be cured.
It can't be cured? Like when it gets too far, it can't be cured?
It can't be. It can't be.
You can help them cope.
Yeah, they gotta learn how to deal with understanding who they are.
Well, I'm talking about people that are not diagnosed. They can't be helped.
Listen, a lot of people aren't gonna be diagnosed because they have to acknowledge that there's something wrong, and that's part of the issues that they won't.
So you got a lot of people walking around that are not diagnosed because they don't see anything wrong with themselves, and that's a part of being a narcissist.
So what about those that recognize it, but
they can get therapy?
Like that's what they do. They go for therapy.
Yeah, like
they constantly they can't stop therapy ever. First of all, they can never stop. They have to continuously acknowledge.
Don't make narcissism like this horrible.
It's pretty horrible.
It sounds
because
and people,
broken people are out here in the world dealing with. Not because of narcissists, they didn't even realize what they were dealing with. So their life has been completely torn, and they always felt like they were the problem in every relationship, every family a dysfunctional situation. They felt like it was them, but they're just an empath. So that's their only crime.
Yes, but I also feel that a lot of people will call people like that. Because there's people who are selfish, right? Doesn't make them a narcissist.
That's true.
So you have all of these qualities or characteristics of what narcissism is, and because we go online and we read up on it and we're like, okay, you're a narcissist. It may not, they just may be selfish.
There's a test that you can take that determines based on, like, it's a test that is made by like a psychiatrist.
I want to take it.
And so this is the thing: if you test extremely high on the chart, then you are in what as they say spectrum. You're in the spectrum. You might not be like full-fledged or full-blown, because full-fledged narcissists, if they're really, really bad off, they are psychopaths, sociopaths. You got, what I'm saying, you got different levels to narcissism at this point. But just to be labeled as a narcissist, there's just certain qualifications you got to have. Not just to be somebody with narcissistic characteristics.
That's what I'm asking,
Yeah.
because I've seen many people with narcissists.
Because everybody
a
has
couple.
characteristics
So,
sometimes that are a little narcissistic.
But they're like, if you question
And
yourself and
bang,
ask
and all
yourself,
those
are you a
other
narcissist? Most likely you're not, because you're self-aware.
I can't say that either.
That's what I'm saying. Most likely.
That is definitely one of the signs
Like-
that when you're trying to become self-aware.
Yeah.
That's one of the signs.
Yes, everybody's a narcissist.
Everybody, you get a narcissist.
And then we become so focused on like trying to recognize, especially a narcissist. Like you don't want to be in a relationship with a narcissist. You do not like all of this stuff. So because we're trying to, make sure that we're not developing those relationships that's going to harm us. Everybody's looking for the signs. So it can be anything. You're a narcissist. Well,
That's
may not be-
narcissistic.
Yeah,
I don't
you may not
know.
be a narcissist.
I don't know.
You just may be someone who really has high self-esteem a little too much.
Or
but
you
it
should
may
just
not be
be left
narcissist.
alone like that to deal and figure out what you are. Because you still can't stress me. You want me to stress me. Let's give you different scenarios. Somebody that's in a relationship with a narcissist. What is their what are they steps?
A narcissist.
Is he?
Yeah.
No.
No. He's not. So, like, now, when I first met him are two different things, right?
Right.
He wasn't a full-blown narcissist. Given time, he can get there. There was a lot of prayer, but I knew what God said. It was God. Like, okay. God was like, that's the one. That's your husband. Yeah. I was like,
narcissistic and all.
Look, no, God, no, that's him. That's no, God, I don't think that's no.
We gotta talk about this guy.
Yeah. Did you miss what I said I wanted? Like I had a whole criteria, and I was like, that's him. Okay, God, okay, we gonna do that. So that's why I tell people, like everybody was like, you can't love a narcissist. You can't. I think with God's help, you can love anybody.
I think that's not even true.
Relationships, especially when it comes to Christian relationships, we take on a very worldly view of how our relationships are supposed to go. So when it comes to hurting and putting ourselves in harm's way, then of course we're going to take that worldly view. I'm not dealing with this. But if we're taking that Christian view, if we're taking that godly view of what love looks like, we're constantly putting ourselves in harm's way for the sake of love. Because what greater love will lay down his life for a friend? Christ actually went to the cross for the sake of love.
So what do you think, even though you're Christian, what do you think if the relationship is constantly pulling from you, hurting you? What do you think that Christian wife or husband's response should be to that? To just lay down and take it? Like,
no, because so then this is what you do. And this is what I tell anybody. Physically, if someone's harming you to the point where you're like, physically somebody's beating you, yes.
I mean,
like,
physically, yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
Type thing.
But when it comes to the hurt we get because someone uses us, it comes to hurt because someone cheats on us. All this hurt that builds up is a point of forgiveness. It is daily forgiveness. Wait, hold on. But this is what people say. Well, I'll forgive you, but I'm not going to put myself in that position to be hurt like that again. That is not Christ.
Okay, so what exactly are you saying they should be doing? Not what they shouldn't do, but they should.
So so for me, it's staying in that relationship. It's fighting. It's praying. It's seeking God. Seriously. I think part of this is almost all kind of the problem what we have in the world, especially the Christian world today, where we're getting like our divorce rate is so high and all of this, is because we take that stance that okay, let's be real about it. Let's be real. It is. Yeah. But are we real or are we Christian?
I mean, I don't believe the world is Christian. I think that there are Christians in the world, but I don't believe the world is Christian. So Christians, we're called to be able to love and to meet people right where they are. And sometimes that's not in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're not in the Bible. They're not looking for a lifestyle that matches them. All they want is to be treated with respect, which ain't too much for nobody.
So if I'm talking to someone who is not a part of the Christian faith, I absolutely have that conversation.
Okay.
And that conversation about having your peace and having understanding that, you deserve to be happy and it's all that. And it's great. Like, right? That's a wonderful conversation. And as a person, I would love to be in that realm, that I have this right to be happy and to have fulfillment. And if you're not helping me with that, you gotta go.
Step. Okay. So
but
what's your conflict?
That's not what Christ tells us. So then I find it difficult.
So that's your conflict.
That's my conflict.
Because your perspective is not. That's not the perspective.
That's not.
I got you.
So then, like I'm saying, like if you having a real conversation, like for example, I'll give a conversation I had with one of my kids, my 14-year-old, last week. It was about sex. We had like an hour conversation about sex.
Ooh, I ain't ready for that.
Oh, good child. And I told him I gave him reality, mama's perspective, and then Minister Jerme's perspective, because those are three different perspectives. Right? Reality of it, I know
You're going to do this.
you're going 9 to 10 you're going to do this, right? So this is what I need you to be practical about. I need you to be practical about when, where, how, protecting yourself, doing all of this. Mommy says, sit down,
Shut up.
you ain't gonna do none of that. And if you try that, I'm gonna put my foot up, yo. That's mommy's
That's
perspective.
Mommy. I think I agree with mommy. Go ahead.
But Minister Jerme's perspective is, well, you gave your life to Christ. So we're talking about you giving your life to Christ and how we're walking this out. Well, let's be realistic about walking out your Christianity. And I think once we start having that conversation.
So technically, you're giving something up that don't even belong to you because you gave your life to Christ. I got you.
So you know what I'm saying? So that's like, I get it. Like there's I think for anybody there's
So
two
how
sides.
do you take that?
It was great. It was a great conversation. And like I told him, at any point where he thinks that he wants to go down this road, sit down and have a conversation with us. Just don't be out there doing it. But at the same time, knowing this is where our stance are, and this is what you say you believe. So this is what I'm holding you to, and this is why this is important. This is why God tells us that we need to wait for marriage. This is the reasons why, and walking down that.
Okay, so now we talk relationship. Let's talk another form of relationship.
Okay.
Let's talk siblings.
Okay, I got a lot of them.
You got a situation with siblings where one of those siblings all your life has been that person, that manipulator, that user, that narcissist.
Okay.
So how do you deal when all you know in this relationship is to be somebody that's used and stepped on, manipulated, and treated like less than?
All right. So
this was funny.
I do because I think at any point in time you're living out all these scenarios, right?
Right.
So
This is true.
I have siblings.
Yes.
I have a lot of siblings. My siblings have very strong personalities. I'm not gonna call them narcissists. Look, just in case she uses this, I didn't call any of you guys narcissists. I said you had strong personalities.
Just strong. Please don't hurt
strong.
me.
Understand? Didn't call you a narcissist. She put a scenario up there. I said strong personalities. Thank you.
I know the fear you have.
I had a lot of them. And they will call me out.
They will come together.
But all of my siblings have very strong personalities,
Right.
and we're very different people. Me and I would say have been the ones who butted heads most of our lives. And how my approach with my sister is, or any of my siblings, I love them where they're at. I don't try to make them to be somebody they're not. At any time they need me, to the frustrations of other people around me, I will be there for my sisters no matter what. Because that's what I'm called. Good, bad, or different, I don't care how they treat me. I may need like 2 days to get over it, but I'll get over it, move on, and it still goes back to the same place. So even in sibling relationships, for me, it's around the same thing. I'm going to love you unconditionally.
Okay, so not to specifically talk about your exact siblings, but to just talk about siblings. Because I don't worry about it. I feel like this is personal or directed to them. But okay, so let's just say that you have been belittled and you already are struggling with self-esteem, and it's always due to everything that's happened in your upbringing. And a lot of it has been at the hands of that sibling. Do you continue to try to hold on or maintain a relationship with a sibling?
Yes.
That has treated you like crap?
Yes. And it took us a long time to even build a relationship.
Maturity.
And even now, like how she handles things and how I handle things are definitely two different things, right? But what changed for me is I'm gonna love her for where she's at. I'm not gonna put undue pressure on her to be who I need her to be as a sibling. No, I'm gonna love you for where you
so
at.
that's not the
and build on
question.
that is the question.
No, for me, the love is not the question. Like, you definitely should love your sibling. Like, definitely.
That's a choice.
I don't think that you shouldn't though.
Love is a choice.
It is, but I think you should choose to do it. So that's my thing. No matter what they've done, you should still try. Especially if you're operating under being.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially. Now, that's not what's in question. The question is, do you keep subjecting yourself to their abuse, or do you say we gotta put some distance in between us because this is not something I have to put up with on a daily basis?
So, yes and no. Depends on what that abuse looks like. Like, if you're talking about,
You're gonna get beat up in these comments. I just want you.
I know.
Hi everybody, Team Taraji member Naya speaking, and that is the end of this week's episode. Now, my question to you is, can you love a narcissist? Let us know in the comments below, and also make sure to comment below what interesting takes you've seen in this video and what your stance is on narcissism. Lastly, before the video ends, I wanted to make a special announcement that I thought was pretty cool. Curly Convo would like to take some time out of our podcast to shout out other small-owned businesses. So if you're a hairstylist, the MUA, a lash artist, any of the sort, and you want to showcase your work on our podcast, that is very much possible for you. Or if you're a business that's making hair care products, skincare products, any of the sort, send us your business. In order to get your business put on our podcast, all you have to do is send $5 to our Cash App, which is Taraji's Braid Studio, and it's also posted right here. After you send us the $5, email us at tarajibraidstudio@gmail.com. Make sure you send us a screenshot of your web receipt, and also send us pictures. Send us your social media handles. Let us know about your business so you can get the recognition you deserve. Make sure you guys like this video, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when the amazing Letitia Beautician posts an episode of Curly Convo. I'm out. See you guys on the flip side.